Now, this next slide about Nintendo and clone consoles was actually in the deck here before today's breaking news from Nintendo, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. But a lot of people were speculating as to why Nintendo themselves just doesn't make a proper NES clone console, for example. We're seeing a lot of cheap clone consoles out there that really don't replicate the original very well. And why doesn't Nintendo do it if there are willing customers to pay for one? And I think there's a whole host of reasons why they don't. They clearly want to get you into their new consoles versus selling you something that runs old software that they can't profit from. But there's something else that just happened today that kind of sparked my interest, which is Nintendo's announcement of the SNES Classic Edition. Now, I did not think this would happen because I really felt as though the NES Classic Edition was more of a marketing stunt to get them through the holiday season of 2016 to appease their shareholders. Because if we rewind back to November, December of 2016, Nintendo really did not have anything compelling to offer to the marketplace that was new for the holiday season, which is a very critical component of any toy or video game company's business model, because that is when people buy the most stuff, is around the holidays to give as gifts. And they came up with a brilliant idea, which was to come up with this little retro-inspired game console, kind of a collector's item that would appeal not only to young people, but to older people like myself. And they didn't make enough of them. So guess what? The media started buzzing about Nintendo basically doing a new version of something that was very, very familiar and kind of ingrained into American pop culture throughout the 80s and 90s, and the pop culture, for that matter, around a big portion of the world as well. Brilliant move, got people talking about Nintendo, got people thinking about that brand again, just in time for a March release of the Nintendo Switch. And look what happened. The Switch is currently selling out every time it shows up on a shelf somewhere, and it seems to be doing, at least in the initial couple of months here, quite well, better perhaps than Nintendo and many analysts predicted. And I think that that NES Classic Edition was a real good move to get the brand talked about and thought about again in a way that would lead consumers to being interested in buying something new from them, which is why this is such a surprise to me, because I'm not sure why they want to have two heavily talked about devices out in the marketplace at the same time. To some degree, I think this might actually overshadow the Switch to some degree, unless they don't make enough. And I think that is where they're going with this. I think they're going to make, again, the same low quantity of these devices. People are going to be buzzing about the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo. They're going to go into the store looking for one. They're not going to find one, but Nintendo hopes, I'm guessing this is their strategy, that they'll have enough Switch consoles available so that they will at least start selling those to people who are also interested in buying a Switch. And on the Switch, you'll be able to get some of these games that are also going to be on these little mini consoles. So I'm sure you can play Earthbound and the unreleased Star Fox sequel they're touting on this console through, of course, Nintendo's new online service that they're going to sell for $20 a year. And I'm willing to bet you that when you hook up your Switch in the holiday season of 2017, there's going to be a free trial period where you can play those classic games to your heart's content. Unlimited library of all these great classic games you'll be able to play for free on your TV or handheld on the portable. And then when that little trial period ends, you'll probably forget to cancel it, and Nintendo will get $20 out of you in perpetuity for all of its old games. That's the strategy. I don't think many of us are going to find one of these SNES consoles without paying a scalper for one, and really it's going to be designed to drive people to, again, keep Nintendo top of mind as a brand and get them into this new console that will be in plentiful supply and hopefully, for Nintendo at least, a constant source of revenue to the tune of $20 a year. That's my prediction. We'll see if it's true when we get to January.
This channel is brought to you by my Patreon supporters, including gold level supporters Mark Bollinger and Cody Falk. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to Lon.TV/Patreon to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/S.